All right, everyone. I'm joined here by Coach Zeb Sion, the coach of a world champion now.
It's true.
After last night,
It's
Valarie
true.
Allman, 69-48.
Yep.
Zeb, how are we feeling today?
Feeling really good. A little tired, but really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the start of a long week here in Tokyo for all of us. Last night, just talk about the emotions a little bit. I mean, Val's been so close so many times before, but finally last night gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, early trying to stay calm and in our normal space and our normal approach, normal routine was critical, which, I mean, is easier said than done oftentimes. But I think that, one of the things I try to remind her the whole time is, let's not forget, you are the defending global champion, right? She won last year, the global, and I think sometimes people put a lot of a distinction between, of course, a world championship and an Olympic championship, and I get it. But so we try to contextually think about things differently oftentimes, which I think you've maybe seen in some of the things I've posted and stuff. But so to us, it was we're trying to be, to us, it's you're the defending global champion. That was last year. That's the most recent thing, and you're the champ. So I was trying to get her to think that way, but as she said in your earlier interview, I think she still was feeling the pressure of course, the misses those other two times. So it was a lot to battle, but obviously it worked out great. So.
Yeah, I mean, leading into this one, knowing you were coming back to the site of where, she won Olympic gold in 2021.
Yeah.
What were kind of the conversations between you guys in the weeks and months building into this championship?
So I think, for this entire season, we had a kind of a three-phase approach. The first phase was going to attack Ramona and those two Diamond Leagues in China. The second phase was kind of the I don't want to say the hold on phase, right? But it was that time of year where I had a lot going on with my work at Texas, and she was traveling a lot, so we were apart a lot. Oftentimes, the schedules would kind of flip flop, and that was kind of hard. So we knew that during that time period, keep your head down, try to still compete well and win. Of course, that's the goal. But we knew that would be a difficult time, and then of course the third phase was Diamond League final and World Championships. So I think we had a good approach from the jump. And knowing that, again, as Val always says, Worlds was our North Star, and we knew that, we had to do everything everything we were going to do was in preparation to be her best here. And obviously, all things considered, I think she did great. So.
Yeah, and then in the competition last night, she opens well, 67-63, but then everyone else was right on her heels until she got that big one in round 5. Yep. What was your kind of internal thought process as the competition was progressing? And it's the door is still open there, and there are dangerous women behind her.
Absolutely. Well, apparently I'm a better actor than I knew, because inside I was definitely freaking out. And I think, luckily our good friend and her agent Jeff was sitting by me, so that actually helped keep me calm. But inside I was definitely freaking out a bit. But to her, obviously I had, I was steady, right? Steady Eddie, you're fine. Every throw I was this is your round, make the slight adjustment, figure it out. But you're definitely right. All those women are dangerous, and anybody could pop off at any time. So definitely did not feel comfortable until the 69 popped up on the board. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, so when she did get that 5th round throw, was it just a big exhale, or was it still we've seen what happened in 2022 and 2023. We can't be comfortable until Val's done.
No, yeah, exactly. The emotions kind of ran through both of us, I think, really quickly. Mm-hmm. I freaked out, of course, per usual when she throws far. And then we both actually got a little teared up, which was cool. Such a genuine emotion and expression of maybe the weight we have both felt, even if I try to deny it, and not talk about it. But, so that happened. And then quite quickly I was like, okay, but we got to pump the brakes until, this 6th round goes through. So.
Yeah. And now, Val's a world champion, and I've seen Chase Jackson, because her coach, her husband Mitch is her strength and conditioning coach, just about how kind of the personal relationship and the coaching relationship kind of strengthens both of them.
Yeah.
How would you kind of characterize your and Val's kind of, I guess, symbiotic relationships there?
Yeah, I think we do balance each other well. I think that we clearly view it as okay, this is my role, in terms of technical advising and how we kind of approach things. But I think at the end of the day, it's so clear that we trust each other as well. Obviously she has input, of course, into everything we do, and it's just a healthy balance, and I think that, she may say I'm her rock, or, she relies on me, but I rely on her in very real ways too. And it's a beautiful balance that I think we've really honestly perfected. Like, I mean, there's times like this week where, the personal side, like, maybe she's anxious and gets a little testy with me, a little feisty, and, but it's all good. And we like figure it out so quickly. It's been honestly become such a beautiful expression of like, our bond and how well we work together, and we cherish it.
Yeah. In terms of technique, like Val's kind of viewed widely as like the gold standard for discus technique, even men's and women's side.
Yeah.
But over the past couple years, since she's kind of reached this level she's at now, have there been kind of technical tweaks that you guys have made, and like what have those kind of looked like in the last couple years?
Yeah, I think that like, her model, we really started to change. I would even say all the way back to, kind of 2019. I mean, obviously it always evolves and always changes. In 2020, we really started to make these changes. And a lot of what we try to do, is how she does create tension in the middle of the ring. And I think, recently though, we've focused more on like how she's getting out of the back. Like a lot of times she'll have like a super trailing like right leg, and that like, that sweep leg kind of takes then too long to ground in the middle, at least in my opinion. I mean, in her best throws, I mean, she grounds the right in the middle with like her chest almost fully facing the sector still, creating like tons of tension and tons of separation. And so again, then you see when her left foot gets down at the front, she's also very back, eyes, perfect, almost like not even dead center. They're almost behind that, right? And so I think like, continuing to make that consistent has been kind of like where we've been lately. And so we flirt with it, but most of the focus is out of the back, honestly, because that sets up the middle and then therefore the front, which I think, that's a pretty common approach. But
is there anyone in particular that you have kind of used as like, or a combination of people like taking pieces from their throws, even earlier on when Val was kind of developing what her technique would look like?
I mean, I think a lot of like the approach that I have is like kind of like logical, you know what I mean? And it's intuitive, and it's like, more like, like lines, like I'm a big lines guy, right? Like how do things look, right? Are we like stacked, or, do we have funky angles? Early in her career, before we even started working together, she had like an crazy high, like steep orbit. I don't know if you've seen like some of those throws from back in the day. And like, to me, like that was honestly like a negative, even though a lot of people were like, wow, we love her orbit. Her orbit's so good. But it also made it difficult for her to like get the discus all the way around that right hip and actually finish it. So early in her career, she would cage and lose them to the right a ton, And so we actively actually like lowered her orbit, which again, I think some people thought, that was crazy maybe, but like the results speak for themselves as well. So yeah, it's an interesting thing that like we do tweak. I mean, the model is the model, and it's like small changes year to year and, throughout the year.
Yeah. And I mean, big change for you in June where you officially wrapped up your collegiate coaching career.
Yep.
How has that, I mean, just this summer kind of, how have you already kind of seen the benefits from being able to prioritize, more working with Val and have a lot more free time, I assume, without expending all that energy into coaching a collegiate team as well?
Exactly. So, I mean, at the beginning, it honestly didn't feel that different because it's kind of common, like, like NCAAs would end, and then, of course, like, my focus would shift. I mean, I'd still, do recruiting and different things, like, if we had meetings or whatever, but for the most part, it did shift to Val regardless. So kind of at first, it didn't feel that different. But then as school started, as, like, practices happening, and I'm still friends with the staff at Texas, and, they're having meetings and they're doing all that stuff, and I'm just like, they're picking up recruits at 1 a.m. from the airport. It's like, I'm loving not doing any of that. Like, it feels so good. But yeah, I mean, obviously that chapter was awesome, and I think, it accomplished everything I, wanted to as a collegiate coach, but, it feels really good to, focus more on, Val and I and what we're doing, working together, and then just having more time personally for, my boys and our boys, and like, that just feels good, so.
Yeah, and obviously Texas, they got a pretty good replacement for you with Mo coming in. Like, have you talked to Mo at all since he's gotten to Austin?
A little bit, yeah, exactly. We haven't overlapped much. It's kind of like in passing, but it was, it was great to say congrats to him, and and obviously wish him well. And he was awesome. He said he had some big shoes to fill. So anyway, it feels good. Yeah, it feels really good.
Maybe he'll join you with coaching world champion tonight.
I hear you.
But, I mean, so looking back at your collegiate coaching career in retrospect, let me check. So it was Idaho State, Chicago, Wake Forest, Stanford, Texas.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, almost like 2 decades of your life.
Yep.
What are kind of your, I guess, what are you most appreciative of for your time coaching in the NCAA?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, you meet so many great people, and and obviously you want to be impactful, to different humans that you get to work with, and you want to develop relationships that matter. And like, there's still so many people that I work with, like you're saying, like 15, 20 years ago that I still, well, not quite 20, but that I still talk with, and and it feels good, get invited to their weddings or whatever it might be. So obviously, like, having impact has felt good. But I appreciate, all the opportunities, right? The people I've met, the things I've seen, being like, be able to go around the country, around the world, with different people. So it's been awesome. Like, it was such a cool chapter, and I loved it, but it was definitely time to make a change as well. So.
Yeah, turn on to that new chapter. And the new chapter is off to a great start. And then I know we were just talking with Val and the wedding coming up in March. Yeah. So good one here, good one in March, and then we'll see what happens next April in Ramona.
Exactly.
Zeb, great getting the chance to talk with you. Congratulations again for last night. And I guess we won't see you at World Ultimates next year, but we'll see you in Ramona.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.